right, let's pray, y'all. All right, y'all, come on, let's pray. Excuse me, brother. We pray on the face. I know, we'll get to it. All minds clear? Deuteronomy, or Devarim, chapter 6, at verse 4. Hear, O Yisrael, Yahuwah our Elohim, Yahuwah is one. Shema Yisrael, Yahuwah Eloheinu, Yahuwah Echad. Shemot, or Exodus, chapter 20, at verse 3. We will have no other mighty ones. Against the Most High. We will not make any carved image. Or any likeness. Of that which is in Shamayim above. Or which is in the earth beneath. Or which is in the waters under the earth. We will not bow down to them. Nor serve them. For Yahuwah is a jealous El. Visiting the wickedness. Of the fathers on the children. To the third and fourth generation. Of those that hate him. But showing kindness. To thousands of those who love him. And keep his commandments. We will not bring the name of Yahuwah our El in vain. For Yahuwah will not leave us unpunished. Who brings his name in vain. We will remember the Shabbat day. To keep it Kodesh. 6 days we will labor. And do all our work. But the seventh day is the Shabbat. Yahuwah our El. For in 6 days Yahuwah made Shamayim and the earth and the sea and all that is in them. And rested the seventh day. Therefore Yahuwah Barak the Shabbat day. We will respect our fathers and our mothers, so that our days are long upon the earth. We will not murder. We will not commit adultery. We will not steal. We will not bear false witness against our neighbor. We will not covet anything that is our neighbor. Father, y'all, we thank you for this set apart day, Father, in order to give esteem unto your name, Father. Father, we thank you for every soul that is gathered here together. Father, we pray that you would be in the midst, that your spirit will rest and abide with us on this day, that you will give utterance unto the speaker and understanding unto the hearer, Father, so that we all may become doers. Father, we pray for any soul who has not yet made it here, who is traveling, Father, to allow them to make it safely, Father, allow it to be completed as you see fit, Father. Father, we pray for all those souls who could not be here with us today, Father. We pray and ask that you will continue to watch over them, Father, lead them, guide them into all righteousness, Father, as you see fit. And all these things we pray and we give thanks for Shem Yehovah, V'Kaya, Hoshua, Hamashiach, Baruch, Hodesh, so be it. So be it.
Come on now. Come on now.
Move, Jordan. Move the way. Back. I need it all. We got it on bro. There you go. How y'all ever gonna get good at it if you don't practice?
Yep. Except for some clues.
All right, bet. That means I ain't gotta drop no more.
No.
Yeah, that's what it is.
That promotion got to score. You know what I'm saying? You blessed with stuff. You get the triple double. I still got to score points, but you got to do what you do. You know what?
Okay, so y'all gonna have to keep it down right there.
Yeah, we got it. Before we begin, how we usually do if we have any visitors, you know what I'm saying? We ask what y'all saying, introduce yourself, you know what I'm saying? A little background on yourself, you know.
Who invited you?
Who invited you?
Actually, my name's Terrell White. I've been in the field for, I want to say, probably about 7, 8 years now. I believe I met Kwame once on the east side of Jefferson. No one invited me. I looked, well, actually, I texted you guys. I texted, I believe, 2 of you guys. And you responded, last Sunday. Right. So, I just wanted to check you guys out. I saw you guys on the internet and thought I'd get a shot. This is one I want to know.
My name is Diana. I've been in apostolic all my life. So I met him. So he's been showing me some different things. So we come here today just to
Scope it out.
Yeah, right.
That's all good.
Well, definitely welcome. You're always welcome to come back. You know what I'm saying? Feel free. You're amongst family.
Welcome. Thank you.
All right,
Got anybody else? Another visitor?
all right. Without further ado. Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah. I think me too.
Reading.
All right, we're gonna get into this lesson. I've been doing this for a minute now. This is called Declaring the End from the Beginning, the Reverse. All right? Declaring the end from the beginning, the reverse. All right? So, we know that the beginning is Genesis, right? So, the whole thing of Genesis is showing you the actual story of creation, but it's showing you the end times as well. All right? So, let's go to Genesis 1:1. Now, we know at the end, right? It says that it's going to need to be a new heaven and a new earth. Right? Anybody aware of that? Why will it need to be a new heaven and a new earth? All right. Anybody else? You're going to destroy the old? Oh. Where will man be at when this takes place? Man gonna be on it?
When they get destroyed?
Okay. Gotta ask the questions to keep it, you know what I'm saying? Keep you glued to saga. All right. Genesis chapter 1 and verse 1.
Genesis chapter 1 and verse 1. In the beginning, Elohim created Shamayim and Eretz.
Go ahead.
And the earth was without form.
Was what?
Was without form.
Was without form. Go ahead.
And void. And darkness was upon the face of the deep. And the Ruach of Elohim moved upon the face of the waters. And Elohim said, let there be light. And there was light. And Elohim saw the light, that it was good. And Elohim divided the light from the darkness. And Elohim called the light day, and the darkness he called night. And the evening and the morning were the first day.
All right, now that's the first day. Let me ask y'all a question. Could man survive in this condition right here? No? Sure? No. Couldn't survive, right? Jump down to verse 8.
Verse 8. And Elohim called the firmament Shamayim, and the evening and the morning were the second day.
What day?
The second day.
So we know that it was some waters created right here. The waters were separated right here. Could man survive now? No, still couldn't? All right. Read verse 9.
Verse 9. And Elohim said, let the waters under Shamayim be gathered together unto one place.
Unto where?
Unto one place.
So before this right here happened, it was nothing but water everywhere, right? Okay. Read on.
And let the dry land appear.
So now the dry land appears. Finally.
And it was so. And Elohim called the dry land Eretz, or earth. And the gathering together of the waters he called seas. And Elohim saw that it was good.
All right. So now, right here, can man survive?
A little while.
So
Yeah, eat.
what's in there to eat?
If you talk about our body's perspective today, with our organs and things, still not talking about food or herbs or anything yet.
Right. So I'm saying.
Can't survive, no, for a little while.
Okay. So you can get water. Now. Okay. All right. So right here, we'll say that man still can't survive. All right. Read verse 11.
Verse 11. And Elohim said, let the earth bring forth grass, and the herb yielding seed, and the fruit tree yielding fruit after his kind, whose seed is in itself upon the earth. And it was so. And the earth brought forth grass and herb yielding seed after his kind, and the tree yielding fruit, whose seed was in itself after his kind. And Elohim saw that it was good. And the evening and the morning were the third day.
Okay, so now we got vegetation. Can man survive? Right here. Huh?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
You can, y'all sure?
Yes, yeah.
Okay. So even without no,
No knowledge and nothing, figure it out.
or even without the sun and the moon, right here. That's the trick question. I'm asking. I didn't pick nobody. I'm asking. It's a good trick. Right.
No, you
Pick it up. Pick it up at the next verse. 14.
Verse 14. And Elohim said, let there be lights in the firmament of Shamayim, to divide the day from the night, and let them be for signs and for seasons, for days and for years, and let them be for lights in the firmament of Shamayim, to give light upon the earth. And it was so. And Elohim made two great lights, the greater light to rule the day, and the lesser light to rule the night. He made the stars also.
All right.
Question for you. In verse 3, he said, let there be light. So there was light in verse 3.
But what light?
Well, it says light.
Yeah.
Light.
That's a Mashiach. If we go through it, we can show you that.
Okay.
So now the sun and the moon is here. Now, can man survive?
Yes.
Sure?
I'll let you know.
All right. You okay, Savon? Okay. Good answer. I like that. All right. Pick it up at verse 20.
Verse 20. And Elohim said, let the waters bring forth abundantly life, and the fowl that they may fly above the earth in the open firmament of Shamayim. And Elohim created great whales and every living creature that moved, which the waters brought forth abundantly after their kind, and every winged fowl after its kind. And Elohim saw that it was good.
Did what?
Saw that it was good.
So now we got the birds, and the water actually can sustain life at this point. Can man survive? Okay.
You got to survive the
I like that. Read the next one.
Verse 22. And Elohim increased them, saying, be fruitful and multiply, and fill the waters and the seas, and let fowl multiply in the earth. And the evening and the morning were the fifth day.
Well, what day?
The fifth day.
The fifth day. What day was man created on? Sixth day, right? Now we got everything except for man and beasts. All right? So even if they could have survived off the quote-unquote birds, if they had a sin, what would atone for it? Nothing wasn't there, right? There wasn't nothing to sacrifice. So what about the, that's for a specific thing.
But that came after the fact.
No.
He could have made these
Yeah, he could have, but he didn't. All right. Read the next verse.
Verse 24. And Elohim said, let the earth bring forth living creature after his kind, cattle and creeping things, and beasts of the earth after his kind. And it was so. And Elohim made the beasts of the earth after his kind, and cattle after their kind, and everything that creeps upon the earth after his kind. And Elohim saw that it was good. And Elohim said, let us make man in our image, after our likeness, and let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the fowl of the air, and over the cattle, and over all of the earth, and over every creeping thing that creeps upon the earth. So Elohim created man in his own image.
In what image?
In his own image.
In his own image. So now, can man survive?
Yeah.
Of course.
Yes.
And now he's made. Right? They thought it was a trick. So after all of it, huh? Yeah. This is the overview. Genesis chapter 2 goes into the inner workings of it. It was like, we got you. No, you got you. All right, let's go to Jeremiah chapter 4. So I asked the question, he said, there's going to have to be a new heaven and a new earth. Right? And I asked, why is this? Then I asked, where will man be at when this takes place? Ask that one more time. Where will man be at when the earth is in shambles? How will survive? How will he survive?
Same way they survived in their own frame.
All right. That's a couple. Okay. Jeremiah chapter 4, verse 21.
Jeremiah chapter 4, verse 21. How long shall I see the standard and hear the sound of the trumpet?
The what?
The sound of the trumpet.
The sound of the trumpet. What's the trumpet normally signify? War, right?
So put your
In this case, war. Go ahead.
How long shall I see the standard and hear the sound of the trumpet? For my people is foolish.
What?
Foolish.
My people is foolish. Go ahead.
They have not known me. They are sottish.
What does that sottish mean? What? Wow. Most I said is people are stupid. Read.
They are sottish children, and they have none understanding. They are wise to do evil, but to do good they have no knowledge. I beheld the earth, and lo, it was without form and void.
It was what?
Without form and void.
Don't that sound like something? Sound like Genesis, right? Read it again.
I beheld the earth, and lo, it was without form and void, and Shamaim, and they had no light.
They what?
And they had no light.
They had no light because in the beginning it was darkness and it was void. The lights wasn't created yet. Just like it's reading right here. Read it from the top again.
I beheld the earth, and lo, it was without form and void, and Shamaim, and they had no light.
They had no what?
No light.
No light. Just like the beginning. Go ahead.
I beheld the mountains, and lo, they trembled.
They did what?
They trembled.
They did what?
They trembled.
They trembled. Read.
And all the hills moved lightly. I beheld, and lo, there was no man.
There was what?
There was no man.
There was no man. So when he told you in Genesis chapter 1, in the beginning was the heaven and earth created. It was without form and void and darkness. Was there any man there when he said that? No man, right? Read that again.
I beheld, and lo, there was no man.
What?
There was no man.
There was no man. Read.
And all the birds of Shamaim were fled.
They were what?
They were fled.
They was gone as well. Creation week, right? There wasn't nothing there. No man, no birds, no none of this. All what you got right there, give me Revelation 16 and verse 4.
Revelation chapter 16 and verse 4. And the third Malachim poured out his vial upon the rivers and fountains of waters, and they became blood.
They became what?
Blood.
They became blood. So in the beginning, the water, it wasn't no fishing on day 2, right? There wasn't nothing in there, right? Can this water right here sustain life?
No.
Read it from verse. Read that verse again.
And the third Malach poured out his vial upon the rivers and fountains of waters, and they became blood.
They became what?
Blood.
They became blood. So again, no sea life can live in this condition. In fact, like the beginning. Read verse 5.
And I heard the Malach of the waters say, You are righteous, O Master, which art and was and shall be, because you have judged thus.
Go ahead.
For they have shed the blood of saints and prophets, and you have given them blood to drink, for they are worthy.
They are worthy. So in the beginning, it was nothing but water, right? Jump down to verse 20.
Verse 20. And every island fled away, and the mountains were not found.
And the mountains were not what?
Were not found.
So when the flood happened in Genesis, how high did the water go? Covered the mountains, right? Same thing. All of this stuff in Genesis, gonna show you it's gonna all be reversed. The entire creation is gonna be reversed back to the way that it was in Genesis, which is gonna be impossible for man to survive on earth. We're gonna see that though. Get me let's go back to Jeremiah chapter 4. Pick it up at verse 26.
Jeremiah 4:26. I beheld, and lo, the fruitful place was a wilderness.
It was what?
A wilderness.
It was a wilderness. On day 3, what did he create?
Grass and
Grass.
herbs.
Grass and the herbs. That would be the trees and stuff, right? Read that again.
I beheld, and lo, the fruitful place.
The what place?
Fruitful
The
place
fruitful place was what?
was a
It was
wilderness.
what?
A
It
wilderness.
was a wilderness. A desert. So he said the fruitful place was a desert. That means all of the fruits and trees is what? Gone away. Back like what? The beginning. Read that verse again.
I beheld, and lo, the fruitful place was as a wilderness, and all the cities thereof were broken down.
All of what?
The cities thereof were broken down.
All the cities thereof was broken down. And we know in the beginning it wasn't those cities, but it's taking you back to the exact same type of way that it was in the beginning. Oh, what you got? Give me Revelation 16. Pick it up at verse 8.
Revelation 16:8. And the fourth Malach poured out his vial upon the sun.
From what?
Upon the sun,
What did it do?
and power was given unto him to scorch men with fire.
To do what?
Scorch men with fire.
So if it's burning man up, what does it do with everything else? Burning it up too, right? Scorching with fire. Read.
And men were scorched with great heat, and blasphemed the name of Elohim, which have power over these plagues, and they repented not to give him esteem.
Repented not. That's real stubborn right there. All right, so we got the first 3 days, so what? Gone. Matthew chapter 24. Pick it up at verse 29.
Matthew 24:29. Immediately after the tribulation of those days shall the sun be darkened, and the moon shall not give her light, and the stars shall fall from Shamayim, and the powers of the Shamayim shall be shaken.
The what?
Shall be shaken.
So he says, I'll just read it again one time.
Immediately after the tribulation of those days shall the sun be darkened, and the moon shall not give her light, and the stars shall fall from Shamayim, and the powers of Shamayim shall be shaken.
Shall be shaken. So what happened on the fourth day? Sun and the moon created, right? Stars created, right? So right here you say they ain't gonna give their light, and the powers of Shamayim shall be shaken. What's the powers? What is it? All right. Hold that. You give me Genesis 1:16. What's another word for powers?
Genesis 1:16. And Elohim made two great lights, the greater light to rule the day.
What do powers do? Rule. So it's talking about these. the powers of heaven will be shaken. This is the power that it's talking about. Sun and the moon, because they rule the day and the night. All right. Give me Jeremiah chapter 4, verse 25.
Jeremiah chapter 4 and verse 25. I beheld, and lo, there was no man, and all the birds of Shamaim were fled.
So we got the darkness, we got the no lights, we got the no man, and the waters polluted. All things that take you back in reverse. All right. Revelation 16 and verse 3.
Revelation 16 and 3. And the second Malach poured out his vial upon the sea, and it became as blood of a dead man.
What?
Of a dead man.
Of a dead man. So things are being reversed. All right. Give me Jeremiah chapter 25, verse 33. It became blood as dead man. Jeremiah chapter 25 and verse 33.
Jeremiah.
So, hold on. So if man is in this, if the earth is in this condition and man is there, what's going to happen?
He's gonna die.
He's going to die, right? Let's see. Jeremiah chapter, what I say, 25 verse 33.
25 and 33. Jeremiah 25 and 33. And the slain of Yahuwah shall be at that day from one end of the earth even unto the other.
Where?
From one end of the earth even unto the other end of the earth.
He said, and the slain of Yahuwah in that day gonna be from one end other. Sound like a whole bunch of people, right? Whole bunch of people. Said from one end to the other. Now some might say, well, this is only talking about the land, because a red means land or a specific city. Even so, if you say it's just the city, right? It's still a bunch of people from one end of a city to the other. Read that one more time.
And the slain of Yahuwah shall be at that day from one end of the earth even unto the other end of the earth. They shall not be lamented, neither gathered nor buried. They shall be dung upon the ground.
So all of these people, they ain't gonna get to be burned up or buried. So that means that the whole land will be what? Terrible, nastiness, right? There's dead bodies everywhere, diseases, right? Impossible for man to live around this. All right. Isaiah chapter 24, verse 1.
The book of Isaiah chapter 24 and verse 1. Behold, Yahuwah makes the earth empty.
You do what?
Yahuwah makes the earth empty.
He makes the earth empty. In the beginning of day one, what was it? Empty, right? Read.
And makes it waste, and turns it upside down, and scatters abroad the inhabitants thereof.
You do what to them?
Scatters abroad the inhabitants thereof.
That's why he said they're going to be from one end to the other. So you're going to scatter them abroad, from one end of it to the other. Read.
And it shall be as with the people, so with the priest, as with the servant, so with his master, as with the maid, so with her mistress, as with the buyer, so with the seller, as with the lender, so with the borrower, as with the taker of usury, so with the giver of usury to him. And the land shall be utterly empty and utterly spoiled, for Yahuwah have spoken this word. The earth mourns and fades away. The world languishes and fades away. The haughty people of the earth do languish. The earth also is defiled under the inhabitants thereof.
It is what?
Defiled under the inhabitants thereof.
Under the inhabitants thereof. So in the beginning, when you had the flood, what was the use of the flood for?
Cleanse.
To do what?
Cleanse.
What's another way to cleanse?
Wash.
Wash it with purified how? With what?
Fire and did it water. You did it with water.
It was did with water the first time,
Yep.
right? This time, it's gonna be with fire, right? What verse you at? Read verse 5 again.
The earth also is defiled under the inhabitants thereof, because they have transgressed the laws, changed the ordinances, broken the everlasting covenant. Therefore have the curse devoured the earth, and they that dwell therein are desolate. Therefore the inhabitants of the earth are burned.
They're what?
Burned.
They're what?
Burned. And
What?
few men left.
And what?
And few men left.
So Jeremiah said he saw no man, but this says there's few men left. What does this mean? Few men left. There's few men left, but Jeremiah said there was no man. All right. Remember he says, as it was in the days of Noah, so shall it be when the Son of Man returns, right? So few men was left, but how explain that? How that works?
A few minutes was left when with Noah, and so did Isaiah? I mean, did Jeremiah see the future, and then Isaiah see? I think
They're pretty much seeing the same event.
yeah.
They're seeing the same event. When he says left, remember what did the flood do? The flood came and did what?
To kill all the inhabitants.
And it,
And let
He left so they
right, but it says everybody else, it took them away. So the only people that was left was Noah and his family, and they was in an ark, right? Y'all know anybody else that was saved in an ark?
I don't know.
Who? Moses, that brother's son. Moses, they call that little thing that Moses was in an ark. That's weird. All right.
Basket.
Woo.
The
Not too much
Put
they
them
know.
in the river.
Right. It's called an ark. Oh,
Okay.
got him way. All right. Let's go back to that. Pick it up at verse 6.
Verse 6. Therefore have the curse devoured the earth, and they that dwell therein are desolate. Therefore the inhabitants of the earth are burned, and few men left. The new wine mourns, the vine languishes, all the merry-hearted do sigh.
Jump back to verse 5.
Verse 5. The earth also is defiled under the inhabitants thereof, because
Now he's seeing a future thing, right? The end. Go ahead.
because they have transgressed the
They
law.
did what?
Transgressed the laws.
Transgress the law. So when people say you don't got to keep the laws, he's showing you the reason that this is taking place is because they are transgressing the law, right? Read.
Change the ordinance.
Change what?
Change the ordinance.
What's the ordinance? Rule. Ordinance usually deal with time. So he says they changed the ordinance. What time was they trying to change? The what? Shabbat. Oh, what you got right here? Give me Daniel 7:25.
Daniel chapter 7 and verse 25. And he shall speak great words against the Most High.
So he shall speak. Future thing, right? Go ahead. Is that Obama? Is that President Obama that wasn't supposed to leave office?
And he shall speak great words against the Most High, and shall wear out the saints of the Most High. and think to change times and laws.
Do what?
Change times and laws.
Think to change times and laws. That's your ordinance. Ordinance deal with appointed times. So somebody, I think it's Obama, is coming to change the times and the laws. Right? Ain't that what they told us? All right. Let's get Exodus 34:28. Right.
Shemot, or Exodus chapter 34 and verse 28. And he was there with Yahuwah 40 days and 40 nights. He did neither eat bread nor drink water. And he wrote upon his tables the words of the covenant, the 10 commandments.
So they was trying to change the times, the ordinance, and the covenant. You're gonna go back and read that in Isaiah 24:5. It's one of the covenants. The 10 commandments is in the covenant. Matter of fact, hold that. Go back to that Isaiah 24.
Isaiah 24 and verse 5. The earth also is defiled under the inhabitants thereof, because they have transgressed the laws, changed the ordinance, broken the everlasting covenant.
Broken what?
The everlasting covenant.
The everlasting covenant. Now I'll go back to that Exodus 34:28.
Exodus 34 and 28. With Yahuwah 40 days and 40 nights. He did neither eat bread nor drink water. And he wrote upon the tables the words of the covenant, the 10 commandments. And it came to pass when Moshe,
He wrote what?
he wrote upon the tables the words of the covenant.
Was the what?
Of the covenant.
Of the covenant. What is it?
The 10 commandments.
10 commandments. Deuteronomy 4:13.
Deuteronomy chapter 4 and verse 13. And he declared unto you his covenant.
His what?
His covenant.
His covenant, even what?
Which he commanded you to perform, even 10 commandments.
Even what?
Even 10 commandments.
Even 10 commandments. So all of these things, somebody in the end going to come to change this, and the most of the people is going to go for it. That's why it's going to be people from one end to the other, scattered all out, death everywhere, complete darkness, no food, no animals, no trees, no nothing. Take you all the way back to the way it was in the beginning. All right. Go back to Isaiah 24. Pick up in verse 6.
Isaiah 24 and verse 6. Therefore have the curse devoured the earth, and they that dwell therein are desolate. Therefore the inhabitants of the earth are burned, and few men left.
Few men what?
Few men left.
Few men are left. Give me Genesis 7:22.
Genesis chapter 7 and verse 22. All in whose nostrils was the breath of life, of all that was what was in the dry land, died.
The what?
Died.
Same thing, repeated. Everything that had the breath of life died. Read.
And every living substance was destroyed.
Every what?
Living substance was destroyed.
That's talking about your plant life. Vegetation, it's all dead. Just like before the flood. At the flood. Read.
Which was upon the face of the ground, both man and cattle, the creeping things, and the fowl of Shamaim. And they were destroyed from the earth, And Noah only remained alive.
Noah who?
Only remained alive.
Noah only and his people that was with him. That's why it says, and few men are left. They was the only ones that was left. The flood came and took everybody else away. Right? So you know that means bodies was everywhere when this took place. It's the same thing. It's all being repeated over. So this is going to be a terrible day when these things take place. Who's going to be able to withstand this? The who? The elect. Like that. Revelation chapter 6 and 16.
Revelation chapter 6 and verse 16. And said to the mountains and rocks, fall on us and hide us from the face of him that sits on the throne.
See, these people are afraid because they not what?
Righteous, keeping the law. Yeah.
Right. They not right. That's why they running. Read.
And from the wrath of the Lamb, for the great day of his wrath is come, and who shall be able to stand?
Who shall be able to stand? Let's see who will be able to stand. Go to the next chapter. Revelation 7, pick it up at verse 1.
Revelation 7 and 1. And after these things I saw four Malachim standing on the four corners, holding four winds of the earth, that the wind should not blow on the earth, nor on the sea, nor on any tree. And I saw another Malach ascending from the east, having the seal of the living power. And he cried with a loud voice, and to the four Malachim, to whom it was given to hurt the earth and the sea, saying, hurt not the earth, neither the sea, nor the trees, till we have sealed the servants of our Elohim in their foreheads.
So let's take you right before he's getting ready to do all of these things. Be sealed. Therefore, when these plagues take hold, it won't affect them. Right? So who is this chapter talking about? The 144,000. Remember, it says, few men shall be left. Right? So we know it'll be more than this, but these are the main ones out of all. Just say, for instance, they write about the census. The Most High said that man will be like the sand of the sea, meaning you couldn't number it. So say, for instance, it is 7 billion people, like they say, right? Out of all of them people, only 144,000 is righteous enough to get this marking in here. What does that tell us about man? Terrible, right? Wicked. Because he told us in Jeremiah 4 and 21, he said, my people is what? And what does that mean?
Stupid.
Stupid. Right? So this right here is showing you who gonna be able to stand in that day is the 144,000. All right, let's go back to Isaiah 24, pick it up at verse 18.
Isaiah 24 and verse 18. And it shall come to pass that he who flees from the noise of the fear shall fall upon the pit, shall fall into the pit.
So right there, what we just read in 16, it said the people was running, saying, fall on us, hide us from the face of him. These people is running, they not right. Read. Right where you look on.
Shall fall into the pit, and he that comes up out of the midst of the pit shall be taken. Shall be taken.
The few men are left and shall be taken. Read.
In the snare. For the windows from on high are open, and the foundations of the earth do shake.
So the windows, what happened with the flood?
Windows
The windows open up, right? So remember in Genesis, he said he separated the waters from the waters, right? Right here, he's opening it back up. It's all going back to that same watery place that it was in the beginning. Read.
For the windows from on high are open, and the foundations of the earth do shake. The earth is utterly broken
It
down.
is what?
Utterly broken down.
The earth is utterly broken down. And I beheld, and lo, it was void. Right? Is this void again? Right? Read.
The earth is utterly broken down. The earth is clean dissolved. The earth is moved exceedingly. The earth shall reel to and fro like a drunkard.
It's like a trunk. Like the earth hit a fifth. It got drunk off the rip. It said it's toiling to and fro like a drunkard. Read.
And shall be removed like a cottage, and the transgression thereof shall be heavy upon it.
Shall be what?
Heavy upon it.
The transgression shall be heavy upon it, meaning it's going to be sin everywhere. None of these people ain't going to be keeping the laws. Transgression going to be heavy upon it. Read.
And it shall fall and not rise again.
And not do what?
And not rise again.
So if the earth fall and not rise again, what happens to the people? Remember, he says, I create a new heaven and a new earth, because this one gonna be completely gone, completely messed up. Right? Read.
And it shall come to pass in that day that Yahuwah shall punish the host of the high ones.
To do what?
Shall punish the host of the high ones.
Punish the host of the high ones. Who is the host of the high ones? Matter of fact, hold that. Read the next part of that.
Shall punish the host of the high ones that are on high, and the kings of the earth upon the earth.
So he says he's going to punish the host of the high ones, and then he said the kings on the earth. Who are the hosts of the high ones?
The government.
But he said the kings of the earth. The government will be considered the kings of the earth. Right? That's a good one. Like that. Read that verse again. What you said?
And it shall come to pass in that day that Yahuwah shall punish the host of the high ones that are on high, and the kings of the earth upon the earth.
So upon the earth, he let us know that the kings of the earth is the people that's on the earth. But the host of the high ones, they not on the earth. Right? Oh, what you got? Give me Ephesians chapter 6. Pick it up at verse 12.
Ephesians chapter 6 and verse 12. For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places.
In where?
In high places.
In high places. He said, I'm going to punish the host of the high ones. Then he let you know it was a distinct difference between the high ones and the people that's talking about on earth. Right? See that? What verse was it there?
Which one?
In the Ephesians.
Verse 13.
Yeah, finish that out.
Verse 13. Wherefore, take unto you the whole armor of Elohim, that you may be able to withstand in the evil day.
In the what day?
In the evil day.
Go ahead.
And having done all, to stand.
To do what?
To stand.
To stand. Who's going to be able to stand in that day? Elect 144,000 and everybody that's connected with them. All right, let's go back to that Isaiah chapter 24. Pick it up at 21 again.
Isaiah 24 and 21. And it shall come to pass in that day that Yahuwah shall punish the host of the high ones that are on high, and the kings of the earth upon the earth. And they shall be gathered together as prisoners are gathered in the pit.
In where?
In the pit.
In the pit. Read.
And shall be shut up in the prison. And after many days shall they be visited.
So they be what?
Visited.
So they be visited. So he says they're going to be gathered together in a pit. Let me get this in my concordance right quick. They're going to be gathered together as prisoners in the pit. So what's this word for pit right here? It's H95:3. And that comes out to bore. It says pit, well, or cistern. Right? Mm-hmm. So this ain't the normal word for like a grave. Because we know when it's talking about like a grave or something, it calls it Sheol, right? So, but this says the pit. Can we think of anybody else that was put in a pit? Devil? What about a man? Joseph. Joseph was put in a pit. See if it's the same thing, because it's a cistern or a well. A well. Mm-hmm. Right. Right. Exactly. Well. Give me Genesis 37 and 24.
Bereshit, or Genesis 37 and verse 24. And they took him and cast him into a pit.
And did what?
Cast him into a pit.
Took Joseph and cast him into a pit. Read.
And the pit was empty.
It was what?
Empty.
Because it was not what wasn't in there?
There was no water in it.
There was no water in it. So this ain't the normal pit, like for a grave or, you know what I'm saying, like quote unquote hell or whatnot, as they would say in the script. But this is a well, but it's deep as a pit, right? Let's go back. But notice Joseph is alive in the pit, right? He's alive. Let's go back to that Isaiah 24. Pick it up at verse 21 again.
Isaiah 24 and verse 21. And it shall come to pass in that day that Yahuwah shall punish the host of the high ones that are on high, and the kings of the earth upon the earth. And they shall be gathered together as prisoners are gathered in the pit. Be shut up in the prison. Shall they be visited?
So he says they're going to be shut up in the pit, and after many days they're going to be visited. That means they're what? They're alive. It's like Joseph was thrown in there alive. Keep that in mind. All right. Give me Jeremiah 38 and verse 6.
The book of Jeremiah, chapter 38 and verse 6. Then took they Jeremiah and cast him into the dungeon.
Into the what?
Into the dungeon.
So that word dungeon is the same exact word, H95:3. Pit, well, cistern. Same exact word. And Jeremiah is what? He's alive. Read.
and cast him into the dungeon of Malchiah, the son of Hamelech, that was in the court of the prison. And they let down Jeremiah with cords, and in the dungeon there was no water.
There was what?
No water.
Same thing. No water. No water. So these people that are set up in this prison for all this time, they ain't gonna have no water. Imagine if you was locked away somewhere and it ain't no water. And you in this pit and it ain't no light. It ain't no nothing. How angry would you be, right? So it's like when they put you in prison and you in solitary or something, right? When that person being in there so long, when he come out, is he the same? Animal like, right? So these people are gonna be put in this pit for all this time. So imagine they are seething. What Mashiach says, it shall be weeping, gnashing the teeth. When you gnash your teeth, what does that like represent?
That's the name or
Straight anger.
I ever get out? Right? People out there, like the way he said, after many days, they're going to be visited. Keep that in mind. All right? Give me Isaiah 38 and 18.
Isaiah chapter 38 and verse 18. For the grave cannot praise you, death cannot celebrate you. They that go down into the pit cannot hope for your truth.
They cannot do what?
Cannot hope for your truth.
They cannot hope for your truth. It's too late. Ain't no coming back. This ain't talking about the grave. This is that same word. They that go down into the pit cannot hope for thy truth. It's too late for these people. Man, that's got to be a terrible feeling. All right. Keep reading. All right. Read that verse 19.
Isaiah chapter 38 and verse 19. The living, he shall praise you as I do this day. The father to the children shall make known your truth.
Make known thy truth. This is the few that's left. They're going to get it. So, who is the leader of these hosts of the high ones that's going into this pit?
Let's
go. Revelation chapter 20.
Revelation chapter 20 and verse 1 comes down from Shamaim, having the key to the bottomless pit and a great chain in his hand. And he laid hold on the dragon, that old serpent, which is the devil and Shaitan, and bound him 1,000 years.
How long?
1,000 years.
Because it says after what? He says after many days they shall be visited, right? That's your 1,000 years that they're going to be locked, right? Let me get that right quick. I can get a word out of there. 20 and 1. All right. So he says, and I saw another Malachim come down from Shamaim, having a key to the bottomless pit. That's really a bad translation. So this word in the Greek comes from Strong's like G12. It means abusos, right? Abusos. That's the Greek word. What do you think what the English word for this abusos would be?
Come up with the bottom of the pit.
Mm-hmm.
On the Hallelujah church saying, pit of the deep.
Pit of the deep would be like an abyss,
Yeah.
right? An abyss. So let's see something back. Let's go back to Genesis chapter 1. We're going to pick it up at verse 2.
Genesis of Bereshit, chapter 1 and verse 2.
Because he says he saw the devil, he's going to be cast into this pit, right? Or the abyss. Read.
And the earth was without form and void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep.
What's it called? What?
The face of the deep.
So I'm going to this word deep. It's 8:84:15. Read that.
H48:15. There's an 84:15. I'm sorry. Tehom means deep or depths, deep places, an abyss.
And what?
An abyss.
Same thing that the one in Revelation is talking about, an abyss. So the original thing is not necessarily a quote unquote pit, but thrown into the earth in this condition that it was in the beginning, which was terrible, without no light. It's water everywhere. It's nasty everywhere. It's terrible. Plus all the dead bodies that's scattered from one end to the other. They in this. So from script, we know Satan like to be clean, right? You got the stones and stuff all over them, right? But now you in what? Filth everywhere. And there's darkness everywhere. Back to the darkness like it was talking about in Exodus, when he says it was thick darkness. And he said the people stayed in their places and they didn't move for 3 days, right? So imagine it's this dark and there ain't no light, nowhere. And you mad and you walking around tripping over these nasty bodies the whole night, right? Because it's going back to this original state. Let's go back to that Revelation 20. Exactly, that's that weeping and gnashing of teeth. Superman. Revelation 20 and verse 2.
Revelation chapter 20 and verse 2. And he laid hold on the dragon, that old serpent, which is the devil and Satan, and bound him 1,000 years, and cast him into the bottomless pit, and shut him up, and set a seal upon him, that he should deceive the nations no more.
So when he's locked away, ain't nobody gonna have an excuse to say somebody made me do it. Because what did Eve say in the beginning? The serpent beguiled me. He tricked me. He made me do this. Then what Adam turned around and do? It's that woman you gave me. No more excuse. All right? You're gonna take it away. Ain't nobody out there to fool you. It's you. You the devil. If you do it now, it's on you. I'm taking the excuse away from you. Right? Read.
And cast him into the bottomless pit, and shut him up, and set a seal upon him, that he should deceive the nations no more, till the 1,000 years should be fulfilled.
To the what?
Till the 1,000 years should be
Till
fulfilled.
1,000 years should be fulfilled. Jump down to verse 7.
Verse 7. And when the 1,000 years are expired, Shaitan shall be loosed.
He shall be what?
Shall be loosed out of his prison,
What are you gonna do?
and shall go out to deceive the nations, which are in the four quarters of the earth.
He's gonna go right back and do it again. Right? Now you would think after this that nobody would be brave enough to even think about doing a sin. Right? Let's go back. After the flood, after they watched thousands of people die, their own people, what happened on the other side of the flood? Slept with the exactly. After Sodom and Gomorrah, after watching them thousands of people melt and burn up, what Lot's daughters go right and do? Again, you would think there's no way possible that after you just witnessed all of this, that you would go right back and sin again, right? The same thing. Everything is a repeat. Satan gonna come right back and trick you again and have you doing it again. But it's really you, because you're gonna know better. You're gonna know better. Read.
And he shall go out to deceive the nations which are in the four quarters of the earth, God and Magog, to gather them together to battle, the number of whom is the sand of the sea.
Number of who is what?
The sand of the sea.
The sand of the sea. So it's gonna be a whole bunch of you that's coming down to do this. All right, 1,000 years. So when all of this is taking place, how can man actually survive down here? Anybody? In the world? In the kingdom. Good answer. Absolutely. Let's see. Ezekiel 40. Verse 1.
Ezekiel chapter 40 and verse 1. In the 25th year of our captivity, in the beginning of the year, in the 10th day of the month, in the 14th year, after that the city was smitten, in the selfsame day, the hand of Yahuwah was upon me, and brought me here. In the visions of Elohim brought he me into the land of Israel, and set me upon a very high mountain, by which was the frame of a city on the south.
The what?
Which was the frame of a city on the south.
So he's in a vision. He's taking him to the frame of a what?
Of a city.
The frame of a city. So right here in this vision, Ezekiel is seeing the frame of some city, right? What city y'all think this is? Absolutely. So Ezekiel is seeing this vision of New Jerusalem. Give me Daniel 10 and 5. Matter of fact, finish that Ezekiel.
And he brought me there, and behold, there was a man whose appearance was like the appearance of brass.
Is what?
Was like the appearance of brass.
So he's seeing why this city is, the frame of this city is there. He see a man with the appearance of what?
Brass.
The appearance of brass. Who y'all think this man is? With the appearance of brass. Let's see. Give me Daniel 10 and verse 5.
Daniel chapter 10, verse 5. Then I lifted up my eyes and looked, and behold, a certain man clothed in linen, whose loins were girded with fine gold of Uphaz. His body also was like the beryl, and his face as appearance of lightning, and his eyes as lamps of fire, and his arms and feet like in color of to polished brass.
What?
To polished brass.
So in Ezekiel's vision, he's seeing this man standing there with the brass colored skin. Now Daniel was seeing this brother with the same type of thing. What verse what? Finish that up.
And the voice of his words, like the voice of a multitude.
Like a what?
The voice of a multitude.
Voice of a multitude. Revelation 1 and 13. So who's this man? Mashiach, right?
Revelation chapter 1 and verse 13. And in the midst of the 7 candlesticks, one like unto the Son of Man, clothed with a garment down to the foot, and girt about the paps with a golden girdle. His head and his hairs were white like wool.
With what?
Were white like wool.
Just like in Daniel, we'll talk about that. Read.
As white as snow, and his eyes were as a flame of fire, and his feet like unto fine brass.
Unto what?
Unto fine brass.
Unto fine brass. So they all seeing the same person. All right, get me Zechariah chapter 6. Now remember in Ezekiel 40, it said he saw a frame of a city. Zechariah chapter 6 and verse 12.
Zechariah 6 and 12. And speak unto him, saying, Thus speaks Yahuwah of hosts, saying, Behold, the man whose name is the branch.
The what?
The man whose name is the branch.
Who is the branch? Mashiach, right? Read.
And he shall grow up out of his place, and he shall build the temple of Yahuwah.
We're going to do what?
Build the temple of Yahuwah.
We're going to build the temple of Yahuwah. What verse you at?
13.
Finish that out.
Even he shall build the temple of Yahuwah, and he shall bear the esteem, and shall sit and rule upon his throne. And he shall...
I thought they said only Yah do this. But the Old Testament talk about some man doing this, right? Some man named the branch.
It's got to be David. David's name got changed to the branch. So, I'm just saying that most I won't give this esteem to another.
Exactly. But it's directly right here say something else. Read it again.
Even he shall build the temple of Yahuwah, and he shall bear the esteem, and shall sit and rule upon his throne.
So somebody else got a throne in the Old Testament. That they said, finish it.
And he shall be a Kohen upon his throne, and the counsel of peace shall be between them both.
Between who both? Who is the both? Let's go. John chapter 14. Because remember, the earth is in shambles, rocking to and fro like a drunkard. Dead bodies everywhere. Nasty water everywhere. Everything is burned up and nasty, right? No trees, no fruit, no animals, no plants, no nothing, right? So it was John 14 and 1.
The book of John, chapter 14 and verse 1. Let not your heart be troubled. You believe in Elohim. Believe also in me.
Do what?
Believe also in me.
Says there's going to be peace between them both. Read.
In my Father's house are many mansions.
In my Father what?
In my Father's house are many mansions.
Remember Ezekiel said he saw a man standing by the frame of a city? Read.
If it were not so, I would have told you.
Because people tell us, ain't nobody going to no heaven, right? They say that's that Christian stuff, right? Read.
I go to prepare a place for you.
I do what?
I go to prepare a place for you.
I go to prepare a place for you. Read.
And if I go and prepare a place for you, I will come again and receive you unto myself, that where I am, there you may also be.
Read it again.
If I go and prepare a place for you, I will come again and receive you unto myself, that where I am, there you may be also.
So he said, I go and prepare a place for you. In my Father's house is many mansions. Where is his Father's house at? Samaim. He said, where I am, I'm going to take you and receive you to myself. So we can't stay down here on the earth, right? Because it's crystal clear that there's nothing but death and destruction on this earth, right? There's no way in the world we can survive down here because it's going to be just like in the beginning. That's why he put man on the 6th day, because he couldn't survive in the first days, right? But the earth going to go all the way back to the original conditions, so it ain't no way a man can survive down here in this condition. That's why he says, I saw this man standing next to the frame of a city, and he gave you all these things about him. He says, I'm going to take you to where I am, in my Father's house, where there's many mansions. Read that last verse again.
And if I go, in my Father's house are many mansions. If it were not so, I would have told you. I go to prepare a place for you. And if I go and prepare a place for you, I will come again and receive you unto myself.
I will do what?
Receive you unto myself.
I will receive you unto myself. So the same place that where he at right now, that's the place where we that believe, that follow his will be going to the same place, waiting our time. Finish that out.
That where I am, there you may be also. And I whither I go, you know. And that way you know.
All right, we good right there. Get me Psalms 92, verse 12. Mm-hmm.
The book of Psalms, chapter 92 and verse 12. The righteous shall flourish like the palm tree. He shall grow like a cedar in Lebanon. Those that be planted in the house of Yahuwah shall flourish in the courts of our Elohim.
So those that be planted in the house of Yahuwah shall flourish like the courts of our Elohim. Remember the trees in the garden in the beginning. Read.
They shall still bring forth fruit, and in old age they shall be fat and flourishing, to show that Yahuwah is upright. He is my rock, and there is no unrighteousness in him.
So he says they're gonna bring forth fruit even in old age. Ain't that like the beginning? When they was having children at 600 and 700 years old? Just like the beginning, everything goes back. Right? Give me Revelations 21. Pick it up at verse 1.
Revelation 21 and verse 1. And I saw a new Shamayim.
It's gone. Is what we're sitting on looking at now. It's gonna be gone. Read.
And there was no more sea. And I, John, saw the set apart city, New Jerusalem.
That same city where it says, in my Father's house is many mansions. You say, I see it do what?
Coming down from Elohim out of Shamayim, prepared as a bride adorned for her husband. And I heard a great voice out of Shamayim saying, behold, the tabernacle of Elohim is with men, and he will dwell with them, and they shall be his people, and Elohim himself shall be with them, and be their Elohim.
Be their Elohim. So now the righteous city is coming down, right? So we know that this is right after the 1,000 years, right? Let's jump back to chapter 20 and pick it up at verse 6.
Revelation 20 and 6. Increased and set apart is he that hath part in the first resurrection. On such the second death have no power, but they shall be Kohen of Elohim and of Hamashiach, and shall reign with him 1,000 years.
How long?
1,000 years.
1,000 years. Go ahead.
And when 1,000 years are expired, Satan shall be loosed out of his prison, and shall go out to deceive the nations which are in the four quarters of the earth, Gog and Magog, to gather them together to battle, the number of whom is as the sand of the sea. And they went up on the breadth of the earth and compassed the camp of the saints about.
They did what?
Compassed the camp of the saints about.
So when the new city come down, they're all going to gather around it, right? To make war. Read.
And the beloved city, and fire came down from Elohim out of Shamayim, and devoured them.
Did what to them?
Devoured them.
Devoured them. No playing around like that this time. 1,000 years exactly. Come down, surround the city, because they've been locked up for this 1,000 years, super duper angry. Now the holy city come down, let's get them. Boom. Flames, gone. So the beginning from the end, the reverse. So we see how this whole thing is going to be reversed. Creation is basically going to be reversed, started all over again. This time, you'll have your righteous bodies, if we righteous, if we follow what he says. So with that, he says shalom. Any questions?
Y'all keep what that last verse went back to. Read that last verse and just read it again.
And they went up on the Revelation 20:9. And they went up on the breadth of the earth and compassed the camp of the saints about.
So you got the wicked people and you got the saints, right? Read.
And the beloved city, and fire came down from Elohim out of Shamayim.
So the fire came down and did what?
And devoured them.
Devoured who? The wicked. The wicked, right? Isaiah 24:7. Get that right quick. Remember that I asked the question. How can one person see that there was no men left and another one see that there was some men left? All right.
Isaiah 24:7.
Mhm.
The new wine mourns, the vine languishes, all the merry-hearted do sigh. The mirth of the tabrets cease, and the noise of them that rejoice ends. The joy of the harp ceases. They shall not drink wine with a song. Strong drink shall be bitter to them that drink it. The city of confusion is broken down. Every house is shut up, that no man may come in. There is a crying for wine in the streets. All joy is darkened. The mirth of the land is gone. The city is left desolate, and the gate is smitten with destruction.
Okay, give verse 6.
Verse 6. Therefore have the curse devoured the earth, and they that dwell therein are desolate. Therefore the inhabitants of the earth are burned.
Now what?
Are burned.
Now the people that was on the earth was the ones who actually was living there for this whole 1,000 years, right? The saints just got there. So the people that's living on the earth right now is surrounding the city, and then what happened to them? They got burned, right? Read the end of that verse.
And the inhabitants of the earth are burned.
And what?
Are burned.
And what else?
And few men left.
So who was the few men that was left on earth? It was the saints. So this is what Isaiah actually seen being told to us in Revelation. You know what I'm saying? I just, you know.
In Jeremiah seen the devourer.
He saw the devouring happen.
Right. And Isaiah seen
The actual people that was left afterwards.
but both vision was
On the same
They
thing.
seeing the same event.
Same thing, right? Right. But when you say just to one person, it sounds like that somebody, one of the visions fell off. Both visions was on target.
Exactly.
Absolutely. They kind of put me in the mind of the rapture. Can you kind of explain like how the ship from? I know it.
Right, we'll go to that Thessalonians. You know what I'm talking about?
I know it can be separated from all the commandments and saints, right?
Mhm. It ain't like what we was taught in church, basically. Soon they taught us in church, basically, we're gonna go through nothing, see nothing, before all of this stuff take place, you're gonna be snatched and taken away out of the way.
None of that's right.
For a whole bunch of it, you're gonna see it. You're gonna be in the midst of it, looking at it. Just like the children of Israel in the first time in Egypt. They was right there, but the plagues didn't touch them. You know what I'm saying? So you right there in the middle of it, looking at it, but if you find protection on you, it won't.
That's the seal that we put on the boat.
Exactly. You got that?
Yeah. Thessalonians, 1 Thessalonians 4. Or 16.
Go ahead, read it.
It says, for the master himself shall descend from Shamaim with a shout, with the voice of the archangel, and with the trump of Elohim.
With the what?
With the trump of Elohim.
Remember in the first verse in Jeremiah, it says, the sound of the alarm. Right? So this is the alarm, the trumpet. Go ahead.
And the dead in Mashiach shall rise first. Then we which are alive and remain shall be caught up together with them in the clouds.
Meaning the same people, he says, I'm going to take you to where I am. Right? Exactly. So you get to be taken away out of this. Right.
So that 1,000 years where all that darkness and all that stuff, where everybody that's on the earth is going through the weeping and gnashing of teeth, the other people are going to be in the Shammai, caught up in the Shamaim, where he done prepared the mansions, like in that Ezekiel chapter 40 and verse 3. If we kept reading down, he said, the man that he seen was measuring out Israel. He was measuring it out. He was saying, okay, the porch gonna be right here, and this is gonna be right here. So he actually putting together the city. Like he said, I want to prepare a place for you. So he like, all right, look, this is where y'all gonna be at while all this is going on. You know what I'm saying? That's beautiful, man.
So go to Revelation 15. Pick it up at verse 1.
Revelation chapter 15, verse 1. And I saw another sign in Shamaim, great and marvelous.
Where's this sign at?
In Shamaim.
In Shamaim. Was it heaven? Read.
7 Malachim, having the 7 last plagues, for in them is filled up the wrath of Elohim. And I saw as it were a sea of glass mingled with fire. And them
a sea of glass mingled with fire. Anybody know what that's talking about? Sea of glass mingled with fire. Firmament, right? But what is the fire mingled with fire? What is the fire? Is the Most High?
Consuming fire.
He fire himself. So this is what it looked like. Him mingled with the Shamaim or the firmament, the glass. Read.
And them that had gotten the victory over the beast.
They did what?
They gotten the victory over the beast.
So if they got the victory over the beast, they will be considered what? Saints or righteous. Read.
And over his image, and over his mark, and over the number of his name, stand on the sea of glass.
They doing what?
Stand on the sea of glass.
So these people are where now? Shamaim in heaven, right? Because they standing on the firmament now. So it ain't no quote unquote rapture the way we was taught, but we going to definitely have to be off of this earth.
Principle of it.
You climbed up.
Consistent.
Exactly, because this is these last plagues. If we keep reading, these 7 angels got these last 7 plagues, which is going to fully reverse creation. Okay?
So, the 1,000 years, will, the people that say be living the whole 1,000 years, bring the whole 1,000 years, or will they just die?
No, they'll be living.
So they're gonna be on top of the firmament, and the ones that's gonna be, unsaved, gonna be down and catching the rapture.
It's not the rapture.
Catching quote unquote hell.
Right.
Right. Matter of fact, let's go back and read this Revelation 15. Pick it up at verse 2.
Verse 2. And I saw as it were a sea of glass mingled with fire, and them that had gotten the victory over the beast, and over his image, and over his mark, and over the number of his name, stand on the sea of glass, having the harps of Elohim, and they sing the song of Moshe, the servant of Elohim, and the song of the Lamb, saying, Great and marvelous are your works, Yahuwah Elohim Almighty. Just and true are your ways, you King of saints, who shall not fear. Who shall not fear you, O Yahuwah, and glorify or esteem your name? For you are Kodesh, for all nations shall come and worship before you, for your judgments are made manifest. And after that I looked, and behold, the temple of the tabernacle of testimony in Shamaim was open.
What?
Was open.
Go ahead.
And the 7 Malachim came out of the temple, having the 7 plagues.
Having what?
Having the 7 plagues.
So the people, the righteous people, is up there, right? They up there, but now it's opening up for these 7 last angels to come out. Let's see what they got. Read.
Clothed in pure and white linen, and having their breasts girded with golden girdles. And one of the 4 beasts gave unto the 7 Malachim 7 golden vials, full of wrath of Elohim.
Full of what?
Full of the wrath of Elohim.
You don't want to be underneath. You don't want to be underneath. Now, the other verses is talking about the devil and how the stuff that they doing. But now this is Yah's wrath coming down himself. Read.
Who lived forever and ever. And the temple was filled with smoke from the esteem of Elohim and from his power. And no man was able to enter into the temple till the 7 plagues of the 7 Malachim were fulfilled.
And what?
Until the 7 plagues of the 7 Malachim were fulfilled.
Terrible right there. But the people was out the way when this part takes place.
The whole next chapter is dealing with it actually happening.
Right.
What's the one part where it say like 2 will be in the field and then 1 get taken away and then
That's dealing with sometimes some of the end and dealing with 70 AD. It's gonna be a scary thing.
There's one there, there's one there. Yeah, there's one right there. So this Revelation 16 and 19. This is Revelation 16 and 19.
Oh yeah, that's it.
It's
Gonna cover the mountains.
the great city was divided into 3 parts. The city of the nations fell, and great Babylon came to remembrance before Elohim to give unto her the cup of the wine of the fierceness. And that 3 parts is that that London and DC. Anybody, any more questions? Is there any more questions or comments or anything? No?